Hello. Oh, you're gonna have to scoot in a little more. Sure. It's kind of like the view of real estate. Yeah. It's called What's Up BB. So who's here today for Patti Click? Woo!
Hey, Facebook Live.
Hi, Facebook Live. So, Patti Click is one of our very favorite lenders. You're not our only lender, but you know that because there's like a million of you guys. But you're one of our favorites, and we've known Patti for a long time. And I have to tell you,
real estate is always going.
It is always going. So I have to tell you, one of my favorite things about you was when you just closed a loan for us for a young first-time homebuyer couple. And you send out this, it's Bomb Bomb video that says, now the fun begins. Yeah. And I was like, what fun is that? And I was just like, what a great level of service. I just loved it. And it was really cute. And it reminded your clients and our clients to read through the email, make sure you're doing what you need to do. And I just thought it was a really out-of-the-box fun way of kickstarting that mortgage loan process. Yeah. So way to go.
Well, thanks. You know, it's fun to go visit the houses. And for a lot of people, the financing side of things is not the most fun part of the process. So as much liveliness and ease that we can bring to the process, and inserting a little humor here and there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Patti also attended the closing and made sure. And you know, when the lenders attend, sometimes people say, does the lender attend closing? And many times they don't. And the ones who do, it always is so much smoother. So anyway, we invited Patti here today to talk to us about, because Patti actually covers a wide array of available mortgage options. And as we wrap up Q1 and head into Q2, you know, the weather's starting to break, rates are starting to break, yeah. And so we wanted Patti to come because she's way better at it than I am, or that even Anisha is talking about the mortgage process. So
yeah. This is why you have professionals.
Yeah. So I think this spring in the Baltimore area is going to be super hot. Really, rates are as low as they've been since the beginning of last year, like early February, and there's, I think, a decent amount more inventory on the market now than there was, so there's a lot of good opportunities out there. I do work with a lot of first-time buyers and first-time buyer programs. I think that some buyers getting into the process think that for buying their first house they need to have like $20,000-$30,000 saved up, and that really just isn't the case. There are a lot of different opportunities, be it just seller contribution, 100% financing, low down payment options, and then different incentive programs that are available throughout the state that can really help, you know, that first time buyer that might be in like the $200 to $350 sales price range can often get into a house for around $5,000 to $7,000 out of pocket, or sometimes less depending on the programs.
I mean, that's as much or as little as first and last month's rent and a security deposit.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And quite frankly, I think affordability is better on the purchase end than it is. I mean, we pay attention to a guy named Steve Harney. Do you know who he is at Keeping Current Matters? He does some national statistics, and he was just talking about how rents continue to go up. And so in this case, affordability really is better in purchasing. So.
Yeah. And you see that a lot. I see people renting with $2,000 a month in rent, and it's crazy. You can definitely get a mortgage.
How much house can you get for $2,000 a month, roughly?
That would be in the low 300s. So
a $300,000 house is the same thing as a $2,000 a month rent.
Yeah.
That could be a detached home. It could be a nice row home. It could be a number of things. So you have to really explore your options and figure out what you want, and then you can have more space than you'll ever have in a rental.
Absolutely. And you also don't have to worry about if you want pets or if you want to paint your door.
So I had somebody that was looking to move, was looking at an apartment, but had 2 pets. The pets, it was like $350 per pet deposit plus $35, $45 a month. I got her into a mortgage. The rent was cheaper, of course, the mortgage was cheaper than the rent because of the pet deposits or the increase of the pets to the rent every month. And we did the math, and over 3 years, her outlay of closing costs and down payment was outweighed by what it would have cost for rent.
Yeah.
In just 3 years, she got more than got her money back. So it's really worth it. And of course, you start building equity.
Yeah, and you love your pet, but do you want to pay an extra $500 a year to be able to have your pet because you're paying rent?
No.
Yeah.
So you brought us some stuff. What did you bring us here?
So there are a lot of really exciting changes that have been happening with the Maryland Mortgage Program.
So wait a minute, let's start.
Sure.
What is the Maryland Mortgage Program?
The Maryland Mortgage Program is a program that is for home buyers in Maryland. You do not have to be a first-time home buyer to participate. They have different programs depending on what your needs are. In some instances, they offer a lower than market interest rate and no aid, and then there are other programs that can help with your down payment and closing costs. They also have a couple of really exciting programs where if you have student loans and you're buying in the right price range, they will pay off your student loans and you do not have to repay them. Up to $40,000 in student loans.
Did you hear what she said?
Yeah.
Say it again.
Did you hear that?
They pay off your student loans in full. And as long as you own the house for 5 years, you do not have to repay it.
If you have a student loan but you
that's
want to buy a house, call us. We'll get you to Patti, we'll get you in a house, and you won't have to pay your student loans back.
Yeah.
That's a win-win.
So we actually have a question from a viewer. She wants to know, Beth and Corbati, who's a fellow Tom Ferry coach, go Beth, what are the 30-year fixed rates today?
So I love the rate question, and here's how I answer it, or answer that is ask what rate do you want? Because truly, there are more than 30 factors that go into what your rate is. So
30?
Yes.
What are a few of them?
Sure.
Educate me.
So loan term, loan program, down payment, credit score, of course, property type, how you're going to occupancy type. Are just a few.
So for a home, a owner-occupied 30-year conventional, well-qualified buyer.
So I was
getting?
looking at 4 1/4, and I can't quote the APR, so I'm not being compliant, which is my
No, it's okay. It's fine.
And even in buying the rate down, we were at 3.875, 3.75 with a point. So
1 point?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really,
and you know what? We can get that new point negotiated to be paid by the seller.
Whoop whoop. Yep. There's also very popular right now are seller buy downs, where you can get the seller to either permanently buy your rate down or temporarily buy your rate down. So if you know, especially for first-time buyers, if you know you're going to be making more money down the line, you can get a full % or more knocked off of your interest rate temporarily, and have
temporarily for how long?
For it depends on the up to 3 years typically, but it depends on the type of program.
So it's ish like an adjustable rate kind of thing, but the seller's paid.
Yeah, but you know what it is up front, and so the end rate ends up being the current market. So it's really not it's a good deal.
That is a good deal. So we talked about the Maryland Mortgage Program, and you had mentioned that the Maryland Mortgage Program, which you are an approved lender for, can also get you better than current rates. So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. So if you are a first-time home buyer, you likely don't have 20% down, and if you don't have 20% down, there's going to be mortgage insurance in some form or fashion in the rate or in your loan. So it might be part of the rate. You might be paying it monthly. Every Maryland Mortgage Program loan gets a discount on interest rate. I actually brought along, and maybe we can talk later, I brought along some examples of just a Maryland Mortgage Program, like a non-Maryland Mortgage Program loan and a loan with the Maryland Mortgage Program. And just based on the mortgage insurance savings alone, you can save $30 a month, I think.
Okay.
Or $40 a month. It goes from
and then are they having to pay upfront PMI or no?
No. So you could pay it upfront. So that's the beauty. You can do a upfront financed mortgage insurance, and what that means is you're basically buying out the mortgage insurance up front for a one-time fee, but you don't have to pay it at closing. You can finance it over the 30 years, or have the seller pay it, and then you don't have any mortgage insurance anymore. But their rates, their FHA rate today was insane. They're at 3.625.
Wow.
Yeah. Is there no aid rate?
Wow.
Who
On
wants to
for
buy a
FHA.
house? Did you
Yeah.
say that right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Today being
Yeah.
March, what is it, 28th? Like our team alone is putting how many houses? 4 or 5 houses on the market this week. And you know, I mean, the inventory is about to explode. So if you are thinking about it, the weather is good. We love showing houses. Give us a call and we'll hook you up with Patti too.
Yep.
That's crazy that the FHA rate was that
Yeah.
low.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
What's the start? Like, if somebody's like, you know what, I really want to get started, but I don't know where to get started. We always like to say, call us because we can match you with the right lender.
Yep. Well, here is what I like to say is how I approach my mortgage pre-approval philosophy is a little bit different. I like to talk to people and get an idea about who you are and what your long-term goals are. That working with me is not just a one-off transaction. It's finding out about you and then putting together some scenarios in a side-by-side comparison and seeing what's going to work best. And then talking that through so that when you go out with Alicia and her team looking at houses, you can be confident when you put in your offer that you know if you're going to ask for seller help, you know what your payment's going to be. That talking to a lender before you start looking at houses really helps you be able to make that decision faster, so that you're not looking at $350,000 houses when you might qualify for that, but you aren't comfortable with that payment.
That's the important part, because that happens to so many people.
Yeah.
Just because you can afford something doesn't mean you necessarily should. And if you talk to a realtor first, most realtors will tell you, let's get you pre-qualified. Not just because, mostly because of what Patti just said. We want you in the right place so you can be comfortable. You don't want to be what's called house poor. You want to be able to still live your life and enjoy it. You don't want to just be able to afford your mortgage and have to stay in the house and Netflix and chill every day. We want you to be able to get out and live.
Yep. And really, buying a house should put you in a better financial position. That's one of the main reasons why people want to buy a house. And the process with us, buying a house might only be a few months, but you're going to be in that house and have that mortgage for a long time. So you want to make sure that you're making the right decision and know what all of your options are.
Now, from a perspective of, you know, one of the things that the realtors have always been trying to hold on to is the mortgage interest deduction. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, people don't realize that majority of wealth is built largely in part of real estate home ownership.
Yep.
People own homes because you're going to pay a mortgage, whether it's yours or someone else's. I think we've probably said that in another one of our videos, and you might as well be paying yours. And you know, I was reading in the news this morning. You know, there's talk of a recession or this and that, but if you really look at what's happening in the real estate market, and I can't imagine, you know, that we're going to experience another 07, 08 where you see, you know, just this insane 30% drop in values, because so many components would have to implode. The job sector would have to implode, rates would have to go up, and then you're winding up with a lot. And I just don't see that happening in a way.
Thank God.
Like that.
I think also the way that the prices were skyrocketing, they were just going up by 5 and 10s and 20s of thousands of dollars. That would have to also happen as well. Rates are still low.
Yeah.
Increase is slow and steady, which is good. And if you buy a house now, I challenge this question. How long did you live in your first house?
We lived there for 11 years.
And how long did you live in your first one?
Oh gosh, I don't know, at least 10. I think Marty bought it
Right.
before we got married.
A lot
and
of
we've
people-
been in this second house for 20.
You think I'm gonna buy this house? I'm gonna stay here. It's my starter house. I'll get in and I'll get out. I thought I was gonna live in my first house for 5 years. I lived there 19 and a half years.
Are you still there, or did you just move?
No, I moved like two and a half
right.
years ago. But so you build equity, you build and you save, and that money turns around and it's there for you.
Yeah.
So don't look at this as, sometimes it will be a short term, but most people, you say I'm gonna stay here 3 or 4 years, but life happens and then you're there 7, 8, 11, 20.
And even if you aren't going to be there, I will tell you a personal experience of mine. I purchased a house. I lived in it for a couple years. My life circumstances changed, and then I rented out my house. And it was awesome. And the thing with what we were talking about at the beginning with rising rents is that oftentimes your house is almost immediately cash flow positive. So I think that especially sometimes they say younger people can be scared about buying because of the commitment. That, yeah, it's a commitment because you're going to own that house, but you have options. You don't have to be stuck with that house, and it can be a great way to start your real estate rental empire.
You know, so I just posted a graph in the comments section of this live video about a historical trend for U.S. existing home median sales prices, and it's a chart from 2000 to 2018, and you can see, you know, from 03 to 06 or 07, you know, the appreciation was unnatural. But if you look at from 2013 to today, it is much more normal appreciation, you know. And so when you buy a home, you expect to live there a minimum of 5 years so that you are looking at that wealth appreciation. Do you do investment loans?
Absolutely.
And so can you talk a little bit about that? So if anybody here is watching that wants to get into buying their first investment property, what does it take?
So I think the big misconception about buying a rental property is that you need to have all of this income to be able to afford both mortgages. But in fact, we can count part of that potential rent that you're going to be receiving on the house in how we qualify you.
Okay.
Number
and
one.
How does that flow? Like, maybe break it down a little bit further.
Oh, sure. So you find an investment property, you want to buy it. I ask Alicia, hey, what are the rents going for that house?
$1,500.
Yep. So then we can count 75% of that rent against the mortgage payment.
Oh. So if
and
the
it's
mortgage
as simple
payment,
as that.
What if the mortgage payment's $1,200?
Yep. So then it basically counters it out.
Really?
Yeah.
And then what if and what's the down payment requirements?
So technically it's 50. We have programs actually with as little as 10% down on investment property, but the rates are going to be a lot higher, to be honest.
Okay.
You want to have 20% and ideally 25% for the best terms. We do also have, and this has worked out wonderfully for a couple of investors, an investment renovation program. So you can get a house pretty cheap, go in, renovate it, and then be renting it for a whole lot more than and you're gaining equity in a couple ways. So then your tenants are paying your rent and you gain the equity from doing the renovation.
Oh,
Might need to do that.
Oh, very interesting.
I'll help you make some money.
That is awesome. Yes. Let us all help you make some money. And hey, look who just popped in. So you know what's so exciting? Today's a big day in real estate.
It's a big day. The EB team.
It's a big day for the EB team. You know why? Because we're growing, and we have a wonderful new agent joining our team.
Yay.
It is Melissa Evans. So Melissa and I go really, really way back. And for those of you who know our journey, I've managed an office. I've done a lot in this world.
And Melissa was in that office.
And Melissa was in that office.
And we sat next to each other for years.
Oh, that's right, you guys did. And now you're sitting together again.
Now we're back together next side by side.
We are.
Now I'm going to know all of the secrets.
So, you know, Melissa is our downtown specialist, Federal Hill, Fells Point, Canton, Ridgely's Delight, you name it. So, you know, not that we didn't cover the city, but now we're really covered in the city.
Exactly.
In fact, I went on a listing appointment down in the pier side, so we may get something. So it's all very exciting. So
it's great. I'm excited to be on board. Alicia mentioned I've lived downtown for 10 years, so count on me as your downtown Baltimore City expert. I would be delighted to help you out, and I'm really glad to be on board with the team.
And I think next week, are we doing a market update? What did we decide we were going to do next week?
We just were saying something else.
So many new ideas to share.
What was I just talking about? I was just talking about my.
The HUD ones. The HUDs.
Yes, the HUD
HUDs.
one. Yes.
Yeah. Why? Another reason why you need a realtor. If you saw a post of mine earlier, I happened to catch a little sneaky fee that was trying to be charged to one of our clients,
And it keeps popping up.
it
So
does keep
We are
popping up.
seeing it more
I'm
and more.
curious to see if it pops up on the one I'm doing on Monday.
So,
Because it's
It
popped
made
up
me
on
double
the
check. I
one-
have 2 tomorrow, and it made me double check.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
on one of them, but I haven't seen all the paperwork for the
yeah.
other.
So make sure that, you know, if you are in the midst of buying a home, please check.
And
or
make
have your
sure
realtor
that you
check.
double check everything and your agent double checks everything.
And
If
can
it's
we
not
say y'all
us.
been in the business too long because we're still saying HUD ones? Well, yours was a HUD because it was cash, but the rest of them are.
Alta.
All
Altas,
HUDs, I know. I know.
That's
We're
what
gonna
I-
say
okay.
HUD ones forever.
We should probably do like a Facebook Live video at some point where we
what
just
a
explain
HUD.
all the acronyms.
That's
in the
actually a
industry.
really good one.
So-
Yeah, like the vocabulary, the ABCs.
Yeah, the jargon.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
real
a good one.
estate.
I like
good.
that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Randy, we're gonna put a pin in that one
So
too.
there you go. We're
I
into
like
our
that.
parking lot.
So, any closing mortgage remarks?
Now is really just as good a time as
Yeah.
ever to buy. If you want to look into what your options are, even if you're not thinking of buying until next year, it's a good idea to talk to a lender and know what you can do. You never know until
Right,
you
and
find
then
out.
you might say, "Oh wow, I'm going to start sooner than later." So
And then if I find a lot of times when people say I got to work on this, I have to work on that. You start now, you talk to the lender, and they say, "Oh, you only have to work on this. That's already been resolved," or this. You never know. So even if you do have something to work on, the lenders will give you a goal. They'll give you a guideline of
A
what you
plan,
need to
an
do.
action plan.
Yeah, an action
plan.
And,
We need
and
it,
the
yeah.
good ones aren't just going to go no. The good lenders are going to help you.
Say how.
How, you know,
exactly,
yeah.
and that's why the people that we work with are really willing to sit down. They're not just going to run a quick number for you. They're going to explain to you what you need to do. In the case years ago, my sister had a lot of issues financially, and her lender, you know, told her exactly what to do, and within 6 months, she was able to purchase a home. She's owned that home for like 10 years now, getting ready to sell it eventually and move to her retirement home. So, but it was all because that lender made it possible for her to understand that just because she had debt, once she cleared it up, it was fine, and she's been great ever since.
The other thing is Patty's local, as you can see. She's here. She's not even like in Southern Maryland. She's like here in our backyard, can pop in anytime. And why is that important? And it's funny because I was literally just talking about this. For the love of God, don't use an online lender. Like, I can't tell. I know they spend a lot of marketing, and the minute you click on it, the little ad floats around like, hey, get pre-approved. Please don't do it. Like, I can't beg you enough. Why? Because real estate is local, and there are little quirks that national lenders, online lenders look at something about a Maryland contract, and they're like, oh my God, we're not lending you that money. But yet if you clicked and got a quick pre-approval and you go and buy that house and you think it can all implode at the very end, that's actually Sharon is just selling a house right now that has already sold once, and it completely blew up at the
Twice.
very last.
It blew up twice.
And it was an online lender, and you know, I'm not saying the name on purpose, but it's an online lender, and I just beg you, if you
I've
want to
got
get
2
approved,
words. Ground rent.
that's
Yes, I was
exactly
thinking ground rent, but here's the other. When you present your offer and you have an offer from an online lender, the other agent, the seller's agent, will say, I don't know about this. So they sometimes will say, we'll accept your offer if you get an approval from somebody local.
Oh, I did that on.
I know. Ground rent and online lenders will be a
not mix.
problem. Do not mix. But
But
also
it's very interesting
in
you say
presenting
that.
your offer.
Because these people that were settling, I'm the seller's agent on Monday, please God, they had a national lender, and my sellers were like, no, that's not happening. And they found a local, granted it's DC, but the agent is from DC as well. But I just hung up from him when I got up. He's calling me from, DC, and it's like, he's telling me exactly what to do. And it's very interesting.
Yeah, the
because
personal touch
I don't want
is
to talk to
so-
somebody in Tampa, Florida.
The personal touch is of the utmost importance, because things get wonky, and you need the person that can help deal with it when it's in underwriting and the underwriter's asking questions, and you just need that.
Yeah.
So.
It's going to be my 14th anniversary in mortgages next month.
Nice.
And really you want somebody that has experience and has been through whatever, there's always something new that's going on and happening, but we can weather the storm and get you to closing. Because there are things that are beyond your control, no matter how well qualified you are. And just talking to somebody local that you can come see me whenever you want to come see me. And I'll make sure that you understand, and that fees, what they were talking about with the title company, hidden fees, like that, you see that all the time with the online lenders too, that you really don't know what you're getting. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. Yeah.
So hey, look, Patty brought us a bunch of folders that have a lot of information about the Maryland Mortgage Program and stuff like that. And I also have, oh, I was like, am I holding this upside down? Okay, good. So if you would like one of these, just drop your contact information below. We will happily send you one. You know, do me a favor, if you guys like this video, love it, heart it up, share it on your timeline. But this is getting a mortgage. So how are you going to pay for that house?
Yeah.
So
Yes, and if you know somebody thinking
Yay.
about buying or selling, tell them to call us. Share this video. Share our webpage, our Facebook page. Share that.
yeah. Oh, you know what's exciting? In April, March is done. April, we're launching a new website. Can't wait for you guys to hear about it. All right.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Patty.
Patty.
Thanks you guys for having me.
Appreciate it.
All right, I gotta turn it off.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye, Facebook land.
Bye, Facebook Live.